Everyone. My name is Victoria Young. I am the Vancouver School Board Chair, and I'd like to call this meeting to order. With deep gratitude and respect, we are honored to be learning and unlearning on the ancestral and unceded lands of the Hamukwiyam, Skohomishokomeo, and Tsleil-Waututh. Tonight, this meeting is being broadcast live, and both the audio and video recordings will be available for viewing after the meeting ends. Footage is available both inside and outside of Canada. The board has a strong commitment to ethical conduct, and it is our responsibility to ensure our meetings are conducted in a safe and respectful manner. As a Board of Education for school districts, it is important that we model the behavior that we expect of students in our schools. Quick introduction tonight. We're joined here on Teams. We're joined by Superintendent Helen McGregor, Secretary Treasurer Flavia Coughlin, and my fellow trustees, Trustee Ma, Trustee Fraser, Trustee Chan Pedley, Trustee Reddy, Trustee Richardson, and is Trustee Friedcoat here yet? I don't see.
I am here.
Oh, you are. Sorry, apologies. I don't see you. And regrets from Trustee Zhang tonight. Tonight we have one person coming to delegate. And before we hear from the delegate, I would like to review a few important points, just procedural points, which can also be found on the presentation slide here. Time allotted is 5 minutes. Every effort should be made to stay within that time limit, please. We also expect delegates to comply with our board norms of conduct and decorum. Personal information, inflammatory or accusatory language will not be tolerated. Delegates must avoid disclosing personal information. This is a really important one, specifically with tonight. We ask that you avoid disclosing personal information that could unreasonably infringe on any individual's privacy. Speakers should focus on their delegation topic rather than individuals and avoid sharing any personal information about students, staff, or community members. As public meetings are recorded and form part of our public record, delegates should protect the privacy rights of others. Board members may direct questions for clarification through the spokesperson, and matters will not be debated tonight. Also, no decisions are made in tonight's meeting. I ask fellow trustees to be mindful of the time, and also a timer will be used to show when 5 minutes is over. And tonight we'll dive in now to our delegate this evening, Lindsay Murphy, who will be speaking regarding Henry Hudson French Immersion, the grade 7 one-year transitional request. Lindsay, are you here with us?
Yes, I am.
Perfect. I apologize if I can't see you right now because I am dealing with some limited tech, personal tech skills, but I would invite you to begin your presentation when you're ready.
Perfect. Thank you. So good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Lindsay Murphy, and I'm a parent of a grade 6 French immersion student at Henry Hudson Elementary. The other parents were hoping to join to be a supportive presence at the meeting, but I believe with the transition to online that they're watching on YouTube. So just hello to them. My daughter and our family have been part of the Hudson community since before kindergarten. She attended the Hudson Preschool in the little yellow building that's no longer there. And for many kids in this cohort, Hudson is their catchment school. The Vancouver School Board has long maintained a commitment to ensuring students can attend schools in the communities where they live, and that's a commitment that mattered deeply to our families. We felt fortunate that Hudson offered French immersion. We lived just up the road, maybe half a block, and French immersion was something that we valued and felt our daughter would thrive in. It was also fortunate that they do also offer English, as we have a son who, due to his own personal development, was better suited to the English stream than the French. So Hudson allowed both of our children to attend the same school together in their community, and that stability mattered to us and still does today. I wanted to briefly share a timeline of what brings us here. I have provided some documents for your review, including a petition of 139 names of parents and community members in Vancouver that support our request. In 2019, the board approved a phased closure of the French immersion at Henry Hudson, with a clear commitment to supporting students through the phase out period. For years, cohorts continued despite being below the enrollment threshold, including this year's graduating class, with no indication that they would be required to leave the school. Um, sorry, the VSB included supporting a standalone grade 5 class of 9 students last year, which is part of why many of the parents had questions regarding next year's grade 7 class. In June 2024, families received written communication from school administration stating that the district was committed to seeing the program through, even with small numbers. The parents recognized that the cohort was now below the threshold by quite a bit, and families relied on that assurance from June 2024 when planning their children's education. Then in November 2025, parents were informed via email that grade 7 French immersion would not be offered at Hudson next year. There was no notice that a review had begun, no indication since 2019 that this was the direction the board was planning to take, and families were given a short timeline to choose between transferring schools for a single year or leaving the French immersion program to stay at Hudson. There was no prior consultation, just being told that the decision had already been made. Parents spoke with the Vancouver School Board staff at length. A fourth option came up to have our children write a test or assessment, go through an assessment to get into grade 8 French if they chose to finish elementary school in English at Hudson. Those same staff that suggested that also stated that our children would not pass that assessment. It was a pretty definitive statement. So we don't feel that that is actually a consultation outcome because it's not a genuine fourth option. Parents submitted a formal complaint seeking clarity around the decision making and a solution on December 5th to Helen McGregor, requesting a written response by January 5th. We did receive a response last week, but unfortunately, it did not answer several key questions. I'm just going to go over the questions that we would really hope to have an answer to. Which is why a 1-year cohort specific solution was not meaningfully explored. What criteria were used to determine that staying at Hudson would be worse for students than forcing a 1-year displacement in the pivotal grade 7 year? How this aligns with the board's 2019 commitment to support students through the phase out, and why families were assured of continuity before this decision was made. And this brings me to the why this matters beyond the policy and process, and everything that happens, that we are not aware of as parents in the school board. This group of grade 6 French immersion students has already endured extraordinary disruptions. Like many, they finished kindergarten at home during the COVID-19 pandemic. They said goodbye to the red school building that welcomed them for their early years. They adjusted to staggered recess, limited playground access, and construction during the building of their new school, which is beautiful. And they watched many friends leave as families transferred schools to accommodate younger siblings and to avoid the uncertainty that the construction process brought. But despite all that, this group of students and their families stayed, not because they didn't have the option to change schools, but because Henry Hudson was home. These children are deeply integrated members of the school community. They play with the English stream peers at recess. They collaborate across programs, volunteer at school events, and have little buddies in the English side. Sorry, I see my time's up.
You can finish. You can
Okay,
finish if you have a couple more
yeah,
sentences.
I've just got a couple more sentences. Thank you.
No problem.
Um, yeah, so they're supported by teachers and staff who know them well and they feel like they belong. Forcing students to leave their community and their peers and their trusted adults for a single year or abandon French immersion entirely is a significant and avoidable end to a gradual phase out. It's not a neutral administrative change, and it has real implications for student well-being, long-term learning outcomes, and mental health. So to be clear, we're not asking for program expansion or for French immersion to be brought back for all future years at Henry Hudson. We're asking the board to encourage the staff to explore a 1-year time limited cohort specific solution that allows these students to complete grade 7 French at their home school. Thank you very much for your time, and I welcome any questions.
Thank you very much, Lindsay. I'm going to look to my fellow trustees to see if there are any questions for clarification. Susie, sorry, Trustee Ma.
How many grade 6 students are currently in this program?
He's currently 8.
Are there any other questions from trustees? I am just looking, flipping between screens here. I don't see anyone's hands up.
I
Okay.
think Trustee Reddy has a hand up. Sorry.
I can't see her, and we have a function where you raise a hand like
My hand is
Trustee
up.
Ma did. Oh, I'm sorry, Trustee Reddy. I can't see, I don't see you at all. Apologies. Go ahead and ask your question.
Thanks, and thanks, Lindsay, for taking the time to speak with us. So I just have two questions. One is just about the review that you mentioned. So were you, as a parent of a child in the school, included in this review, or how did you become aware of that? Can you explain that, please?
Sure, yeah, but we were not aware a review was taking place. We were just told of the decision that had been made. We weren't aware that the program was kind of on the bubble. Like, we obviously knew what enrollment levels were, but given that a grade 5 class of 9 kids went forward and we'd had encouragement that it was going to continue, I think we all just kind of accepted that in good faith that it would continue. So the first that we heard about it was the November 17th email saying there is no French immersion grade 7 next year. Here are your options.
Thank you. Please actually unmute yourself if you have any other questions, because I apologize, I can't see everything. Are
Chair,
there,
I have a follow-up.
perfect. Go ahead, please.
Thanks. Yeah. And I'll just remove my hand there. So thanks, Lindsay, for that information about the kind of review and the process of information. So just going back another couple steps to 2019, I do remember that process and the decision. And I was just wondering if you were present at the time and also what your understanding of that decision was at the time. Of course, like the motion is available publicly and I was at the table, but as a parent, I'm curious what your recollection is of that time and that decision that took place.
Yeah, I was present at the time. It was technically the year before my daughter was starting French there, but I had a vested interest because we'd already been accepted to the school for kindergarten. I did meet with a number of trustees. I met with Trustee Cho a couple of times, and then following the decision, I sent some clarifying question emails to a couple of trustees. The response that I got back was that the way that the motion had been worded was the intent was to let these kids finish that were currently enrolled. Um,
Okay, thank you. And I can see you now, both. Apologies. Good to see you, Lindsay. I think Christopher or Trustee Richardson has his hand up as well. Do you have a question?
I do have a question, and thank you, Lindsay, for your presentation. Um, just just to clarify, the encouragement that you speak of that you received as recently as June of 2024, and maybe you can walk through, oh, the encouragement was by staff or in communication with trustees, or I'm just wondering, were these informal encouragement or was this formal, um, just so I understand, how
yeah.
you were led to believe.
What had been happening up until that point was we would receive an email from the school principal in like May or June that just said French is going to continue next year, and then we didn't receive that in 2024, in spring 2024. So one of the parents had reached out to the principal, and it was the principal that responded and said that I believe the wording was that the school board seemed committed to seeing it through. And then I emailed as well in August of 2024 and asked the principal again if everything seemed on track given how small the class was, and got the same response that despite small numbers, the class would continue, and that the normal, like, we'll find out who the teacher is and everything come the second week of September.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm just flipping through my screens. I don't see any other hands up. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Okay. Wonderful. I want to thank you again for coming to speak to the board tonight. We appreciate you taking the time to do that. So thank you, Lindsay. And seeing no other questions from trustees, we can adjourn by consensus. Seeing no objections, we can adjourn at 5:15 p.m. Thank you all.